Everyone, welcome to another section on Android development class. And in this particular tutorial, we are going to be looking at how to create this beautiful sign-up screen that we have here on your own and understanding each of the section one after the other. All right, so if you are glad to join this class, please hit the subscribe button if you are yet to subscribe. And if you are subscribed already, please click on the like button so that you can boost the algorithm for this video. All right, there are many links in the video description that will help you to actually get a better explanation of this video. And if you want to download some of these codes, it's also available in the video description. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I'll go to the start menu and search for Android Studio, and I'll click to open Android Studio. For those of you who don't know how to start up Android Studio for a new project. All right, so once you click on Android Studio, it's going to begin to load. Then it's going to actually open for you. And for those of you that you have clicked it or pin it to the taskbar already, just right click on the taskbar and click on Android Studio, and it will open for you to start a new project. All right, so for my sake, I'm just going to come here and click on a new project. So I'll select a new project. So when you start a new project, you have something like this, and you make sure that you select empty view activities. Click on next, and here you are going to be having to give your app a particular name that you want. So for example, I'll just say screens layout, because we're going to be creating several screen layouts in this project. So I will leave this to Java, and for yours, if it is your first time creating an app with Android Studio, instead of this Dion's here, you'll be having example, and you don't want to use example because you have issues with that later in the future. So just change it to whatever name you want to use. This particular one will automatically be filled based on the name that you have inputted here. Then leave it to Java, and Java is cool. You can use API 21 or 24. I just want to stay with 24 for now. And make sure that you set this to Groovy DSL for now for this purpose. Then click on finish. Make sure that your internet connection is turned on, because it will need to download some libraries, some dependency that will be needed to actually make our app run successfully. All right, so let's just go to that screen so that you see what we have. So this is what we have. It's already downloading all of the dependency and things that we need to have our app get started. So I'll just click on the main activity. While this is importing all the necessary Gradle resources, I'll just chill and wait for that to actually load completely. And once that is fully loaded, we can start customizing and building our page. So let's just chill for now. And once all this is done, we'll continue with our setup for our project. Okay. All right, this has successfully compiled all the dependency that we need for our app. And if you look at the screen that we have right here, you see that all we have to the screen is hello world, and we want to start developing and customizing our app so that we can have that beautiful sign up layout that we want. All right, so the first thing I will do is I will collapse this area, this app area, then this regs, and for now I'll just toggle to this split screen. Okay, so I'm going to delete all of the codes here, and we are going to be coding from the beginning. So I'll just take all of these, and all right, let me do this. Instead of doing that, I'll just change this parent container to relative layout. So relative layout. All right, so that's fixed that. Then the next thing is I want to remove this text view. I don't need this text view here. All right, so now let's begin to create our layouts one after the other. So this particular relative layout, this first part, is the parent container that houses the entire screen size of your phone. So inside it is where we want to display all what we have in our app. So the first thing I'll have is I want to have another container, which should be the top layout for my app. So I'm going to set this to match parent, which means that it's going to take the entire width of the screen, and I'm going to set the height to match parent. Okay, another thing I want to set is the orientation. Yes, orientation. I want to set it to vertical. Then I want to set the background for this. For now, I want to set it to something I don't have, so I'll just leave it for now. What else do I want to set in the parent container? I think that is all. So I'll just close it, and this inside of it, I'll be having two things. I'll be having an image, sorry, not image button, just image view. So I'll be having an image view, and my image view, I'll just set the width to 20 dimension pixel and the height also to 20 dimension pixels. And to get my image, I'll be using the src file attribute, which is source file for my image view. So I'll just select that, and actually I don't have the image I'm going to be using as well, so I'll also leave that blank for now. Okay, so I'm going to apply some styling later to this place. So I'll just close my image. After the image, I want to have another text. Sorry, I'll just have to start with this bracket. So I want to have a text view. So a text view. Then for my text view, I want the width to be 100 dimension pixel. The reason is I don't want it to be too long. And for the height of my text, I want it to be wrap content, which means that it will not be higher or taller than the actual height of the text itself. And for my text, I want to have this text called create account. So the text I want to be displaying is create account. Okay, all right, so that's about my text also for now. Now let's begin to sort and fix them one after the other. We said we want to have a background here, and the background is yet unavailable. So I'm just going to find my background item. So I'll just pick it from this folder here. All right, so I have the background element I want to use here already. So I'll just copy it, whatever you want to use for your own background. You'll find a link to get this background I've used in the video description as well. So I'll right click on this drawable here, and I'll click on paste, then I'll click on OK. So right here now in this, I'll give this an ID. The ID, let's say this will be top container. All right, so I need this ID because of my parent. Sorry, I need to, something is missing here. ID, yeah. Okay, so top container. All right, I need this ID so that I can use it to reference this particular container whenever I need to reference that. When we get there, you understand better. So for this background, I'll be picking this image that we have copied here, which is this top BG. So the source is drawable, then top BG. So I'll just say add drawable. So I have set that in that place. Okay, so I'll make sure that the height is not match parent for this one also. The height is 250 dimension pixel. I don't want it to be of the same height with my screen, so just 250 dimension pixel. You look at our text, you see that our text is not actually showing. So I'll change my text color to white so that will be visible. By default, this white color has been defined under the value section colors. So you see that we have white, we have black. I'm going to define one more color here, and that will be our default app color. So I'll call it app color, and the color for that will be #1100 FD. So that's the color I'll be using for now for my app color. All right, so now that we've created the, this color, we need to create two more colors that I'll be using in this project. So I'll create another color file, and I'll just say color, and I'll call this particular color name. I'll call this one, I'll call it app icon. Okay, then the color I'll be defining for app icon is 2C. And I'll create another icon also. I'll create another color also, color, and no, not app BG. I'll call this one int color. Okay, and the color is going to be 949494. All right, so you'll see how we use each of these colors in our project. All right, so let's get back to the main activity. I want to create this icon here, so I'll just click on the split. So the first one, this image, I want to make sure that it is available. Then I'll also create some other images I'll be needing as well. So let's get back here. I'll click on Okay, I'll just right click on this drawable, and I'll come to new, then I'll select vector assets. Okay, so I'm going to be creating 4 images from this section. The first one I want to create is the back icon button. Okay, so just type in back here and wait for this to load up. It's going to show us this. So I'm going to use this very first one. So then I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so now I've selected OK already. So I'll just rename that back icon to IC_back. Then I'll click on next, and you can decide to change the color right from here. You can decide to use any color that you prefer. For now, just go with white here and click on next and finish. Then I'll create some other icons that I'll be needing for this project. So I'll just go first this time around. The one I'll be using again is person. So I'll just create this and I'll call it IC_user and next and finish. Another one I'll be creating is the password. Okay, so I'll call this lock, and this will be for password. So I'll be using this very one. Okay, and I'll call it IC_password. Then the last one I'll be creating is for email section. So I'll do the same thing, right click, go to new and vector assets, then create for email. Alright, so that marks all the icon I'll be using so far for now. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I input the back button here. So I'll say at drawable, since it is inside the drawable folder. So I'll just say drawable/IC, then I want to select the back IC. So it's already showing in our design, but I need to keep some spacing between the icon and and the text. So first off, I will apply a margin bottom to this text. It will shift the text towards the lower part so that there will be spacing between them, 50 dp. Okay, that's that. Then to the parent container, I want to apply a padding. Okay, I'll apply a padding of 20 dimension pixels. All right, then let's get back to the text now. The text, we want to make sure that the text is bigger, not just a small text. So I'm going to set my text size to a bigger color. So I'm going to be using 25 text size, not style. Let me just set this size and I'll change it back to size, not style. So text size is 25. Okay, then I want to add this line. Excuse me, number of lines that this text will span to, that is 2. If I set it to 1, we'll only be seeing create there. So I have to set it to 2, and I'll just leave that for now. No extra fields. So the next thing is we are done with the top container. So I want to have a bottom container. So Control and minus to fold this section so that you can see the next section we are creating. I'll create another linear layout. Then this time around, the container will still be match parent and the height will be wrap content, because I don't want it to be unnecessarily bigger than what I actually needed from there. So then I'm going to set the orientation to vertical as well, because they will follow each other from top to bottom. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some padding start and padding end. Okay, padding start, I'm going to use 20 dimension pixels, and padding end, I'm going to be using 20 dimension pixels. Then when we get there, before you actually understand why we are adding padding inside that container. Now, if you look at this particular container that we are creating, I'll give it an ID and I'll call it our form container. Okay, so I'm just going to add Android that is missing here. And I'll call this not bottom, I'll call it form container. Okay, bottom container and form container rather. So that you see that it's showing at the top here. So we want it to be right below this. So we just use the below attributes to bring it below the first. So I'll say below the top container, then it will come all the way down here. All right, so now let's begin to add elements inside of it. The first element we want to add is an input text field where user can type in their username. So I'll be using TextInputLayout for that particular field. So the width is going to be match parent, and the height is going to be wrap content. We don't want it to be extra high. We just want it to be as high as what we needed that area for. So I'm going to be adding some other things like app start icon. Want to add a start icon, the icon that will show in there. So I'll have id. Oh, I need to add another icon, I forgot that. So just come back here to vector asset and just click on this. I'll be adding person icon. Okay, I'll be going with that. So I'll just call it IC person. Okay, so I'll click on next and finish. All right, so then for this app, you have to just create the namespace declaration so that you'll be able to use it. So that will not give us issue again. All right, so the next thing again I need to apply is I need to apply the color to my start icon, whatever, so that it will be showing, so that you can see that the icon that we added is not showing there. So I need to add the color, and I'm selecting this app icon that we have defined in our code here. So I'll add this app icon here. Yeah. So I'm going to actually close this. So in between, we are going to add another container which will allow us to be able to type in here actually, and we'll be using text input edit text. Okay, so and for that also the width and the width and height will take its parent behavior, so match and wrap content. And oops, that is kind of big. I want to know why that is that. All right, we'll fix that later. I want to believe the error is coming from here, but let me just remove this line for now. Okay, you can see that that is gone. We'll fix that later. All right, so let's just see. After this, we want to have an int, the text that will be showing inside that input field. We want to have it as username, and want to have also text color int, that is the color that will show for this int that is showing here. You can see it's already showing this color, but sometimes you won't see that color. So just want to set a standard color, and we'll call it int color. Let me just call on int color. All right, so let me just press the backslash icon, and that's closed that. So we are done with our username field, but there's still something I need to add. I need to add this icon, and I don't know why it's giving me that error. Sorry, start icon drawable, and the icon I want to add is user at drawable / user. I see user. I don't know why I'm having that error, but we'll fix that later. So for now, let's just leave that. We are going to perform some things on that. So I'll click on this first layout that I've created for the username, and oh, before I forget, I want to add a margin bottom, bottom of 15 dimension pixels. Okay, that is the space before the next item of the same. So I'll just click on Control and minus to fold this, and I'll press Control D to duplicate that one. I'll unfold this again and press Control D, because we are going to be having 3 of it in that manner. Okay, so now let's begin to fix each of them. The second one is for the email field. So I have to set here input type. I have to set the input type. This is not password. This will be text email address. So you have to set that to know, so that user can know that it is email address they will be entering in that particular area. Sorry, I need to start with this Android. Okay, then not this attribute. Input type equals to, sorry, yeah, so it's going to be text email address. All right, so that is set already. Then for this one too, we need to set the input type. We need to set the input type to just text, since it's going to contain username. Username is always text per se. All right, so that is set. Now I'm going to set for this other area too, and I'll give it an identifier. I'll call this email. Let's call this email. Okay, so all the input field has been set and we've given them an ID. So now let's change the icon that is showing here for this one. Okay, so the icon will be not user, but rather email. And for this one, the icon that will be showing is not user, also is password pwd. And since all these icons are not showing, so what we need to do is we need to come to the menu and we need to go to build and click on clean project. So when we clean project, we try to see what the issue is. If clean project is not working, we go back to build, we go back to file and the file menu, click on build and click on rebuild project. Either of these two will fix the issue. So I'll take the two process and let you know which one solved my issue. Alright, the one that actually get this fixed for me is by going to this file, build and clean project, then rebuild project. If that does not work for you, the last thing you need to do is just come to the top here and click on sync project with Gradle files, and that will fix all your issue and you have the right layout. But if I zoom up this area, you will see that this icon is more like overlapping the int that we have here. So to fix that, just come to just come here to the text input layout and add this this particular feature int enabled and set it to false. Then that will make that balance just like you have it here. So set it for all layout, make the int enabled, set it to false, and that will do just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for the last one here, and I'm going to have int enabled, okay, and I'm going to set it to false as well. All right, so we have all those layouts. Now I'm going to be really very fast, and I'm going to add two buttons here, that is the login button and the sign up button. So let me just come down here. That is after the user. Sorry, I need to change the what's it called, the int here from username to password. This field is going to be password, so I'm going to have password. And for password, I want to have this button toggle so that I can actually hide or make my password visible. So I'll come here and also say app and I say password toggle drawable. Okay, and okay, I'm just going to enable that and set it to true. Okay, so now the toggle icon is already here, but it's not visible, so we need to change. Okay, it's already visible here. So peradventure, if it's not visible for you, you just have to change the tint color for that visibility and set it to one of the what's it called, the color that you have defined already, so that will make it very visible. All right, but if yours is showing already, you don't need to set that. Okay, now for this also, this is email field, not username, so I need to update this and say email. Okay, all right, with that I'm done with all of that. So let's just go back and add a button now. So I'm going to add a button, just say button is the one for button, and for my button the width is going to be match parent and the height is going to be wrap content, and by standard minimum height for button should be 48 dimension pixels, so just set that. And the text that will be showing for this, the text that will be showing inside my button is sign up, so I'll just type in sign up. So that's for my sign up button. And you might want to change the text size, how big that text is actually. So I might set the text size to something around 17 pixels. So I'll just say 17 size pixels. All right, so I'm done with the button, and I'm going to duplicate the button just like we did for other ones. So I'll just say Ctrl minus, then Ctrl D for duplicate. So this time around, this one will be login button. All right, so you can see we are actually getting there gradually. So the next thing that we need to fix now is we need to fix the background color for our button, then have this all section here, and we are done with our design. So let's get back there. For us to define a specific color for our button, we need to right click on drawable, select new, and select a new drawable resource. So at this time around, I'll be calling this one button border. Okay, so I'm going to define a new button border, and the root should be a shape, not a selector. So select shape, then click on OK. So now we are going to create our what's it called, we are going to create our default background for our button. We don't want that particular color that is showing before now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set my corners, and for my corners, that is to talk about how curved each of these edges will be. So I'm going to say the first thing I'm going to define is top left radius, and I'm going to set it to 20. No, I'm using 10. I'm using 10 dimension pixels, and I'm going to have bottom left radius, I'm going to have it to 10, and I'm going to have top right radius, I'm going to have it to 10 dimension pixels, and lastly I'm going to have bottom right radius, and I'm going to set it to 10 dimension pixels. So I'll close that. Then another thing I want to define now is the color background, which is solid. So I'm going to be using solid attribute for that. So I'll have Android color, and the color will be my app color, the app color that we have defined already, which is that blue background we have defined. And that is all. I'll just close that. So now I'll save this. Now remember, the name is bottom button border, that is button border. So now I'll apply that to all of these buttons. So I'll just say background. So we are applying it as a background, and I'll say at drawable, and I'll be selecting that one that we have defined, which is this. So I'll copy the same thing and apply it to the other button as well. So I'll come here and apply it to this button. All right. So you will see that the color is not actually showing. Okay. Before that, I need to add a margin button to this one. Margin button, and I'm going to set it to 40 dimension pixels. Okay. You will see that the color that we have defined is not actually showing. To fix that, just scroll down on this part and look for this value folder and select open the theme file and edit each of them to what we have here. So it's going to be theme.app compact.noaction bar, and make sure you change that for the two theme that we have there. So I'm going to change that to app compact.noaction bar. So you can then close them and go back to your view. You'll see that this will have effect on your view. And the only thing is that by default we'll be having this gray background instead of the white background that we have earlier. So all you just have to do is go back to the parent container and set the background to white if white is all you want, and I'm going to be using white color. Okay, so with that we have gotten everything fixed. There's one more thing that we need to fix that we are yet to fix, and if you look at what we have in our actual design, you see this curve around the input area. So we need to create that resource also, so that we'll be able to have you can see that they are just blank. We don't know where their limits gets to. All right, so let's quickly create that. Go to drawable also and click on new, and click on new drawable file. So I'll call this input area or input curve or whatever you want to call it. Make sure that the selector tool is shape, and we are going to create that also. So I'll just come here and click on enter. So the first thing I'm going to select is I'm going to select stroke. Stroke is talking about the outline that surrounds my shape. So I'm going to select the color for my stroke is going to be I'm going to use app icon for it. That's the color I'll use now. And the width of my stroke, how deep it will be, I'm just going to use 2 dimension pixels. So I'll close that. The last thing I want to do is I want to make the edges curve. So, and that is corners. So I'm going to select corners, and I'm going to have top radius corner. I'm going to set this to 20 dimension pixel. Bottom left radius, I'm going to set that to 20. Top right radius 20, and the last one bottom, and I'm going to set that to 20 dimension pixels and close that also. Then that is all. So with this now we'll be able to have we can apply this particular layout to our to our input field. So I'll go back here and select a background for all of this input field, and I can set the background color here. Then it will enable me to have that curve. So I'll just come here and say background, and background will be at drawable slash what name do I give it? Input area. So I'll just copy this and apply it to other section as well. Okay, I'll just come here and apply it as well. Okay, then I'll come here and apply it as well. Okay, so I need to fix this one, and where is it? I need to remove it from here and put it here. All right, so that has been sorted. Though that's not the background, I think I need to change the color that we assign, we apply. So I think it will be int color. Int color. So let's use int color. Yeah, int color. So now that has been fixed. That has been fixed. So the last thing we need to fix now, or to sort now, is you can see that has been fixed. So the last thing we need to add now is this, which is this all button, this layout, this one here, and that is just added by using a relative layout with sorry, that's not it. Yeah, this is it, a relative layout with a view. A view is a line, which is that line you see there, and a text, which is the all text in between them, and another view. So that is all we just need to do to have that in this section. So it's coming right under the sign up button. So I'll just put in that code here, and we'll have our all just like we have it there. So you can decide to upgrade their margins and all of that. Can add margin top here so that it have some spacing to the top. So I can say just 10 dimension pixels, not too close to this button. All right, so with this now we have created the whole sign up page, and as you can see on screen we have, but one thing is wrong. This particular one is too close to the top, so we have to fix that from their container. So we come to this container and set padding top, and I'm going to use 20 dimension pixels, so it will push it down a bit. So if you look at it now, we have something more reasonable. You can decide to adjust the padding if you like. All right, so with this now we have been able to create a complete tutorial on how to create a sign up page. If you don't understand some part of this code, please visit the link in the video description. I have taken my time to explain it step by step in the blog post there, and peradventure if you want to download this code and evaluate them line by line, you can also download the code from that place also. So if you find this very helpful, please hit the subscribe button if you're yet to subscribe, and also smash the like button. Thank you. Have a lovely time. See you at another time. See you later. See you later.